Welcome back. I'm Dr. Lisa Hernandez, and I'm your host today for Your Health Radio and Television program. We've been speaking with several experts about Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports program, PBIS. And now we're going to be joined with Dr. Nancy Kotowski, and she is the Monterey County Superintendent of Schools. And she's going to give us a little more information about the program here in the schools and their role. Thank you, Dr. Kotowski, for coming today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you describe how the Office of Education has played a role in the program?
Well, the Monterey County Office of Education is working as a partner together with Behavioral Health Services in Monterey County, as well as California State University Monterey Bay's teacher education program. And we're addressing this very important topic of creating a school environment that's going to be conducive for learning and where our children are learning and growing in all the ways that they need to be healthy and successful.
Thank you. And what is the current status of the implementation? How many schools? I know there's 17 that are slotted to be working on the program. And how many students also are going to be touched by this program?
Ultimately, all of the students in the schools that are participating will be touched by the program, as well as the faculty and the staff. Because when you're working on an approach to working together in a school and creating a very pro-social, respectful environment and a culture where everyone is learning and growing, that's going to affect everyone involved in the school community. And that includes, the teachers, the staff that work with the students, as well as the parents and the community. Yeah. So it needs to be a comprehensive approach. So it will affect all of the school community.
And right now it sounds like this is the first year is the implementation year where they're getting trained. And then after that, the years that come, we'll be working on the different tiers. Is that how it's rolling out?
What is essentially happening this year is a learning year where everyone that's going to be participating in the leadership of the program is being trained. Okay. And that's most essential, and we're so very fortunate that we have a very renowned national trainer in this research-based approach for our schools in Dr. Harrower from CSU Monterey Bay. And so he has been working systematically over the course of this year, beginning in January, to train all of the schools. And that includes not only the school faculty itself that will be involved in the leadership of the program, but also including the school district, because all of our schools operate within a school district system. Mm-hmm. And for the model to be successful, it needs to have not only the school buy-in of the leadership of the principal and the teachers and staff, but also how the school district is going to support the approach as well.
I guess that leads to sustainability of the program then.
Yes.
And Dr. Harrower mentioned the different tiers. Mm-hmm. Tier 1 is more the universal approach, and then it goes up into the narrower populations. And can you tell me about what are some of the target populations in each of those tiers?
Well, as Dr. Harrower was explaining, that most of the students in the school, 80% to 90% of the students, are going to be involved in that first tier. That's just the way in which we all live and work together. And as in any sort of community, we always know that most of the people, if they know what it is that they're supposed to do, they're going to do it. So setting those expectations are so important. And children quickly learn whether those expectations are consistent or not. And so when a school has a total approach that they're taking to what we expect of everyone, how we interact with each other, how we work together, and how we're all learning and growing as a community, and there's consistency in that all the way through, then of course that becomes the culture of the school. And it's the way in which we all work together. And normally most people and most children want to be successful. In fact, all children want to be successful, and they thrive on success. Success breeds success. And when they're having very healthy, dynamic relationships with others, when the adults in the school are modeling the kind of behavior that we expect of our children, everyone is treating everyone with the same level of respect and we have the same expectations, then we find that we're all successful, we're all learning, we're all growing. And so 90%, I think 80 to 90% or more in a school will certainly be within that first tier of what we all do. And then sometimes there's other things that are happening in a child's life that may be causing a child to have some more difficulties with others, and they need more specific help. And so that would be that narrower group of students then that need more support. There's issues going on in their lives. There's situations that are occurring that need to be probed more deeply, and they need just another level, I think, of personalization of what it is we expect and how we can help them reach those expectations. And then there's always, you know, the few that even with that approach, they need even further intervention, a very individualized approach that gives even a higher level of support that that child might be needing. And so in all of us working together and collecting those data that are needed, we'll be able to see and zero in on those children that are needing further support systems and where their breakdown is occurring. You know, where is the problem really occurring? And so it's by the collecting of the information, the referrals that are coming to the office on a child, and the behavior is crossing over in a lot of areas, then we can take those data and use them to really help fine-tune where the breakdowns are and put in place the supports that child needs.
So what is the ultimate goal for this program here in Monterey? Is it to make this triangle more of a square and try to get rid of that top tier, or eliminate it as much, minimize it as much as possible? What are your ideas on that?
Well, I believe, and I know we all do, that we believe in every child. Every child has just boundless heights to which they can go and aspire in their lives. And what education is about calling that forth from each child by name. And so when we know our children as individuals and we're there supporting them in every step of the way, we find that the children will want to just go on to do ever more and be ever more successful. So positive behavior enforcement is really the most important way to go in learning and growing for anyone. We have to nurture that in children. And when I say nurture, at the same time we have to set boundaries and make the expectations clear and consistent. You know, all children need to have those boundaries. We will search for those boundaries until we bump into them. And when they're not there, it causes chaos for the child. It's like if someone were to blindfold you in a room and then you groping around trying to find where you are. It isn't until you come in contact with a boundary of some kind that you have a sense of security in where you are. Children want to know what's expected of them, and they want to achieve that, and they want to be successful. And so when there is a failure occurring, we want to be sure that we're helping them out of that failure and onto the road to success. So the kind of environments we create in our schools, it's so important. And it has to be consistent from teacher to teacher to teacher and from everyone in the school. If you don't have consistency in that, if one teacher says you can do something, another teacher says you can't, then there's all these inconsistencies, and the child doesn't know what to expect. And they want to know what to expect, and they want to reach those expectations. It's in the heart of every child, and to be a success. And that's our job, working in partnership with the family and the community. And that's what we're doing here in the Positive Behavior Intervention Support Program.
Well, you almost answered my next question, because it sounds like it's not a 1 or 2 year program to achieve these goals. This is something that's ongoing for years to come, and it sounds like it's a process that would benefit the child, the community, the school, if it goes from elementary to middle to high school. Is that what you're envisioning, is that this would be an ongoing multi-year program?
Oh, that's what we're ideally looking for. In fact, right now we have 3 unified school districts that will take the children all the way from kindergarten right on through high school. In those school districts, once fully fully implemented across the district, and that's very exciting. But regardless, children adapt very quickly within a very short period of time as to what the expectations are, and they learn that, and they will follow that at any point that the program is put in place. The children will quickly be on board when they know what the expectations are of them, and they see that there's going to be consistency in it, and they see that they're being successful.
Now, do these programs, the principles of PBIS, tie into any of the other efforts that are going on in Monterey County Office of Education for the schools?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we provide, the Monterey County Office of Education provides leadership support and service to the school districts of our county, and it's all focused on preparing all students for success. And so every initiative that we're doing with our professional development and training that we operate, through the direct student programs that we operate, in every regard, we're working toward this very same goal, and that is to make sure that our students are successful at every step. And when they're successful at every step, that means they're prepared for the next one. And all of our training, all of this professional development and support for teachers, staff, and administrators is geared toward providing that, those knowledge, skills, and abilities that are needed in working with our children.
And are you working with neighboring counties in the school with this program? I'm sure we're not the only county in California using PBIS.
We're working very much in partnership in Monterey County, in our region particularly, and I know that Santa Clara County is currently implementing the model as well, and Santa Cruz is looking at it, as I'm sure San Benito is doing too. So we all work together very collaboratively across our region, and we'll be sharing our experiences of what we're doing and looking at our resource pools to see what we can all do to make sure that we're supporting the implementation of an approach that's really focused on all of our children's learning and their growth and their development.
So have we involved, at this point, I think we're just involving the teachers and the stakeholders in the office, in the schools. When are we going to involve the parents and the students? Has that happened yet, or is that next year?
Yeah, the involvement of the parents and the community would be a part of the implementation after the training, when the leadership teams that are being trained now in the next year go back and are training, going to be introducing this program to the rest of the faculty. There needs to be an 80% buy-in from everyone in order to really be participating in the program. And so once the program is established as the approach, that would be a responsibility of the trainers and the school districts that work directly with their parents to bring their parents and community in, because ideally you're going to have consistency also with the home, so that the parents at home know what the expectations are, and how we're working on reinforcing positive behavior and building on that and helping children be successful. And similarly with community programs that are in place, that the more the community can reach out, the school can reach out to the community that they're directly involved with approaches that we're taking on positive behavior supports, that the training will expand into those other arenas. Because it really takes the partnership of the family, the school, and the community to all center around our children. And when we're all consistent in that, and we're helping them to learn and grow and be successful, then we see our children soar to those boundless heights I was speaking of.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That sounds like it's going to be a great process. It sounds like we've started off on a great foot with Dr. Hauer being here, and I always think about the resources that we have in Monterey County, and now I found another one here with this expert. And it sounds like we also will be sharing those experiences with other counties in the region, as well as throughout California. I just had one other question in terms of the populations that we're working with, the students, the teachers. What about feedback from the teachers? Do they give feedback on the program and how it's being implemented? Do you?
Yes, I think that teacher feedback is really critical, because the teachers are going to need to be developing their skills in implementing the program as well. And so feedback is critical. When teachers are having situations, what do I do about this situation and how about that situation, as they're coming up, that there is a feedback opportunity so that teachers can gain proficiency in setting the expectations and fulfilling their, those expectations themselves in their classrooms consistently with other teachers. It wouldn't do very well if one teacher is allowing something that another teacher is not allowing. Well, that throws some children into confusion. Some children will quickly adapt to knowing what I can get away with here and what I can't get away with there. Kids are very smart, about knowing what they can and can't get away with, where and when and with whom, So that's why as the program is implemented, it's going to be particularly important that we have that feedback system well in place.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kotowski. We've learned so much both from you and from our other guests about the Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports program here in Monterey County. And I look forward to hearing more about it from you and from others as we continue to implement the program. And again, thank you for taking time out of your schedule on this rainy day. I look forward to hearing more about the program, perhaps coming back as a guest in a couple months or maybe next year.
Oh, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in to Your Health radio and television program on AM 1240 KNRY, AMP cable channel 24, and on the web at ampmedia.org. I am your host, Dr. Lisa Hernandez, and thank you for participating and listening into our show. Thank you very much.